What up, YouTube? Fair use is in play. YouTube. I got reaction audio of the BTK killer. Some nut dude. Let's go, y'all. Let's get to it.
26-year-old Shirley Vian lies face down on her bed. She has been bound and strangled.
The detectives went out, and when they back and reported it, they said that there's a real possibility that the Shirley Vian case is connected to the Otero case.
The Otero case refers to a nightmare from which Wichita had never recovered. In the winter of 1974,
we're taking a field trip to Wichita. We're now in Wichita, y'all. Let's go.
Police walked into the worst crime scene Wichita had ever seen. Its first quadruple homicide. Joseph and Julie Otero were found strangled to death in their split-level home. Their son, 9-year-old Joey, lay bound and strangled in the next room.
Damn.
In the basement, 11-year-old Josephine was found hanging from a pipe. Wichita police questioned.
Damn. There's some crazy people in this world, y'all. And they get on my damn nerves. Let's go.
3 suspects in the Otero case before they were ever charged. Detectives were called to the public library and a letter found stuffed inside a book.
This letter is very clear to tell us you have the wrong people. You need to stop looking at them. You need to come back and focus your attention on me. I am the important one.
The letter provides details on the Otero murders only the killer would know. The author also wrote, "The code words for me will be bind them, torture them, kill them. They will be on the next victim." 3 years after Otero, detectives believe the man known as BTK has returned. Wichita mobilizes quickly. BTK, however, moves even faster.
It's like a game. These killers play a game with the cops. They leave clues and everything. Makes the cops go crazy because they can't catch them. They don't know who it is. But they're trying to find you. Let's go. They're going to find you. You can't get away with nothing out here. You can't get away with nothing.
A team of detectives dispatches to the home of Nancy Fox and finds the 25-year-old.
Somebody called in and told them about Nancy Fox and where to find her body. Let's go.
Bound and strangled with her own pantyhose.
Let's
Semen
rewind that.
collected from her nightgown.
He wanted to brag about it. He wanted to make sure that we, the police, found it undisturbed, and he wanted us to.
Would know.
I
The author
rewind it
also wrote,
so we can hear that
the
again.
code words for me will be bind them, torture them, kill them. They will be on the next victim. 3 years after Otero, detectives believe the man known as BTK has returned. Wichita mobilizes quickly. BTK, however, moves even faster.
December 9th, 1977.
A team of detectives dispatches to the home of Nancy Fox and finds the 25-year-old bound and strangled with her own pantyhose.
R.I.P. to Nancy
Semen is
Fox.
collected from her nightgown.
He wanted to brag about it. He wanted to make sure that we, the police, found it undisturbed,
Facts.
and he wanted us to see his work and wanted us to realize the type of quote unquote monster we were dealing with.
Clout chasing killer. That's what he is. He's a killer that wants clout. So he's going to kill people and he's going to make sure that the police finds them. And they will put it all on the news and everything like that. And he watches it and gets clout off of it, yo. For himself.
The monster is a serial killer known to Wichita police as BTK.
BTK.
In his need for publicity, detectives see an opportunity to engage their killer in dialogue and perhaps.
See that? A killer will be always famous. His name, BTK, the crime that he did, even his victims will be famous forever. Let's go.
The thought process was, we won't give him credit for it, with the idea that this will prompt a communications from him. And it did.
On February 10th, 1978, KTV News leads its broadcast with a letter it has received from a killer who wants a little airtime.
BTK began today's letter with a question. How many do I have to kill before I get a name in the paper or some national attention?
And
see? How many do I have to kill before I get a name in the paper or some national attention? Clout. Clout. I want to be famous somehow. I'm going to be famous some way. I can't play basketball. I can't play football. I can't sing. I can't dance. I don't have no type of skills in life, but I could damn sure kill somebody. And I could keep on doing it until I get caught. I'll get famous that way. And I'll make sure I kill them very violently and leave them in ways that you can never imagine. So I'm going to get famous one way. Let's go.
his four.
Yeah, they gonna get clout. They'll kill a person to get the clout. They'll kill people to get clout, y'all. Let's go.
7 of his victims, 6 of whom are named. Victim number 5, however, is not.
Well, we were confident that number 5 was Kathy.
Kathy.
Victim number 5,
21-year-old
Kathy, y'all.
Catherine Bright. 4 years earlier, Bright was found in her home, bound and stabbed.
R.I.P.
11 times.
to Kathy Bright.
The murder's MO is pure BTK.
We were probably the first people to use DNA in the United States, I think.
Is able to send some of our samples back and is able to get a DNA profile off of it.
The BTK profile is one of the first ever developed in a homicide investigation.
Well, we could say he got what he wanted. He got national attention forever. He got his name put in the paper. And I'm sitting here making a video of you. BTK. So you got what you wanted. You got national attention because I damn sure don't know you. I just feel like making a daggone video of you, fam, because you're a nut and a dirt bag. Let's go.
In the United States. Unfortunately, it is also of limited value to detectives.
There was
Shout
no
out to the
searchable
DNA
database,
process.
or anything like that back then, but it was a opportunity that we had that we could
Fair use
positively
YouTube is
eliminate,
in full effect.
someone with that profile.
For more than 4 years, Ken Landwehr helps develop hundreds of leads, but never makes an arrest. Most of Wichita believes they have seen the last of BTK. Most of Wichita, however, is wrong.
Fact.
Wichita police confirm BTK is back.
March 24th, 2004.
March 24th, 2004. Local news station KAKE leads its broadcast with a bombshell. After more than 25 years in apparent slumber, the monster known as BTK was awakened.
A letter sent to the Wichita Eagle last week is believed to be from the serial killer.
Just a single sheet of paper, 3 photographs, a driver's license, and there were some markings on the letter.
The 3 photos are of a woman's dead body. The driver's license belongs to Vicki Wegerly, killed in her home in 1986.
RIP to Vicki Wegerly. He sent the police pictures of her dead body. That's the top of the food chain of clout right there. He wants to be known. He wants to know that I want y'all to put my work on the news. I want y'all to put these bodies. I want to hear about it. And if you don't, I'm going to continue to kill.
And suspected to be BTK's 8th victim.
January
We're out here
25th,
at the southeast corner of the
2005
parking
we
lot
at now.
at the Home Depot.
We time traveling, y'all.
You see a row of vehicles here, and the next row over is where the
And I want to
employee
rewind it.
parked his truck.
Dana Gouge is a Wichita homicide. Driver's license belongs to Vicki Wegerly, killed in her home in 1986, and suspected to be BTK's 8th victim.
Damn, she was killed in 1986. And he's just sending a letter in 2004. He sent that letter to them about her.
We're southeast corner of the parking lot at the Home Depot, and you see a row of vehicles here, and the next row over is where the employee had parked his
We
truck.
at the Home Depot,
Dana
y'all.
Gouge is a Wichita homicide detective. On January 25th,
In Wichita.
2005, he is notified about a suspicious package.
The package was actually in the back end of his truck, and that's where he found it.
Scrawled on the outside of the package is the phrase BTK bomb. Thinking it may be a joke, the employee has opened the package. There are no explosives. Detectives accessed the store's surveillance videotapes.
So there were hours of video on that day while he was working that had to be looked at in order to try to find anything that could be someone making a drop into his pickup truck.
What detectives find is this: a parking lot surveillance tape recorded at 2:37 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon. On it, a black SUV approaches the pickup truck and appears to slow down.
What you're seeing on this particular screen is a black Jeep that's entering the picture there.
We got a
which will
picture of his
show
car
on the
now.
Top of the screen and parked
Black
next
Jeep.
to that vehicle. An individual, it appears, gets out of the
We
vehicle,
on this
Jeep,
YouTube
parks
streets
next
doing
to the
police
pickup
work.
truck, fools around outside of the vehicle, and then gets back into the Jeep and leaves the same way he came in.
Police blow up images of the Jeep, but are unable to ID a tag number. Still, they believe this might very well be a car owned by BTK. It is perhaps their best lead in almost 3 decades of trying.
Yeah, he's getting sloppy. He's getting sloppy at his work. I think he wants to be caught, y'all. He wants to be caught this time, so his face could be out here. He wants the main part of clout is showing your face of what you did. I'm gonna send you pictures of the dead bodies. I'm gonna send you letters. I need national attention. Now I want myself to be caught. so I could be gold in history. You'll always remember me. The whole world will remember me. Let's go.
As some members of the task force work the vehicle angle, others investigate the contents of the so-called BTK bomb package.
Inside of it, it had a doll and some jewelry, and it also had a note inquiring whether or not he could communicate with the police by floppy disk without us being able to trace it. In fact, he wrote, "Be honest," and asked us to reply through the newspaper to his question.
He wanted to see if he could contact the police through floppy disk and not get traced. You think the cops are going to tell them, no? Yeah, we could trace you. They're going to say, no, we can't trace you. Send the floppy disk. Now he's stupid. BTK, you're stupid, fam. Why would you ask the police? I want you to be honest if you could trace this or not, because he don't know his damn self. He wants to be caught.
And of course, we responded by running an ad in the paper, which he asked us to do, basically telling him we can't trace it.
See?
Floppy disk,
See?
which we knew, of course, was inaccurate.
On February 16th,
Inaccurate. They could trace the
a local
floppy
news
disk.
station receives yet another package from the BTK killer. Inside it, the item police had been hoping for,
That
a
floppy.
computer disk.
There we
Detective
go.
Randy Stone is a computer expert. He slips the disk into his computer and opens the only file. Stone determines the note was created using Microsoft's Office software.
Knowing that Office has what's called metadata embedded in it, and that was what we were just looking at in the formatting.
The software is registered to a specific user. In a matter of seconds, Detective Stone pulls up that name, as well as information on
They
the
got him.
of the note itself.
We could tell that it was somehow affiliated with Christ Lutheran Church and the Park City Community Public Library.
Oh, he
and
did it
next
at the
thing we looked
library.
at was statistics, and it shows here that was last saved by Dennis.
Dennis
Somehow a Dennis
Ryder is his
who was
name.
affiliated with the church or the library was somehow involved with
Bastard.
Stone jumps on the internet, searching for a Christ Lutheran Church in Wichita.
And when we do
Let me hit
that,
pause. They said he killed people in 1977, 2004, in 86, 89. He was killing people. Then he stopped for 25 years. Those 25 years, I think it was eating his head up because he wasn't getting no clout. Man, they're not talking about me. I don't see my name in the paper anymore. They're not even talking about people I killed back in the days. So let me step outside and do this thing again. This time, I want to be caught. I want to be famous this time. I want everybody to know who I am. Let's go.
come up with.
So you could be famous all types of ways.
People affiliated with the church, you click on that link and you go to here. And the only Dennis we found on there was the president of Congregation Council with Dennis Rader.
In a matter of minutes, a single man at a computer has ID'd a suspect and even provided
Got
a
him.
possible location.
You know, I'm sitting there looking at the computer. I know there's people standing behind me.
Got his
Come
ass,
up with a
yo.
name and look up Dennis and look behind me.
YouTube, we caught his ass.
Because everybody just disappeared.
You know, once we had this information, we were gone.
Wichita detectives hit the street. Zero
We in
in on
Wichita
Dennis Rader's
with the
home
detectives,
address.
y'all.
The last
We're
known
going
address
after
was,
Dennis.
6220 Independence, which is in the city just.
Yeah, we on his ass, y'all.
Park City.
We staking him out
Detectives
right
Tim
now.
Ralph and Clint Snyder race over to Park City.
Mhm.
Even before they stop the car, the pair get confirmation that Dennis Rader might actually be the killer known as BTK.
As we pull up to about here, we glance up and we can see the Grand Cherokee, the black Jeep Grand Cherokee parked up in the driveway.
The Cherokee matches the vehicle seen in the parking lot of the Home Depot and linked to BTK.
He did all that on purpose. He put the BTK bomb package in the dude's truck at Walmart or wherever he was at. They got him on camera. You didn't think he seen them cameras there. He did that on purpose. He said that camera's pointing straight at this truck. I'm gonna drive over there. They're gonna get my truck. Then I'm gonna send them a floppy disk and act like I don't know if y'all can trace this or not, because I know you can. And I need y'all to come pick me up. Now the real fun begins, because I could tell y'all every damn thing. Y'all can put my face on the news. I'm gonna be famous. That's his goal. And it already happened. He's famous. Look, we're talking about him on the YouTube streets right now. Let's go. In 2023. I don't even think this dude's alive anymore. I'm pretty
That was
sure he
one of
got
those
executed already.
Pivotal moments that you just can't describe hardly. It's one of those moments in any investigation where you feel like, okay, this is it.
Fair use,
You know,
YouTube.
we've got you.
When you look at his lifestyle, I mean, he really didn't fit the profile of a serial killer. I mean, he blended in. You know, the president of his church congregation, Boy Scout leader, you know, lived in the suburbs outside of Wichita. I mean, he blended in.
We had down here at this intersection to the left, we had all of our unmarked vehicles with the arrest.
That's Detective Clint Snyder
On
talking.
February
Shout out to
25th,
Clint Snyder.
2005, the BTK task force waits for Dennis Rader to come home for lunch.
Yeah, we waiting
As
for
he
him,
came
y'all.
down off the 61st
Come home from
Street,
lunch. We waiting for his
started down
ass.
the street, the unmarked car with the lights in the grill came up behind him and put on their lights and stopped him right in this area here. And that's when Ray Lundeen from the KBI and Dana Gouge came up and made the arrest.
30 minutes after arresting Rader, Lieutenant Ken Landwehr and FBI agent Bob Morton sit down with their suspect. On the table before
Let's
them,
have a talk,
the
Ray.
computer disk traced back to Rader.
Anyway, you can get out the DNA, right?
You can't get out your DNA unless you've had a total blood transfer and lost every organ. It's there.
He knew that DNA was, he had studied enough, but he knew that that was going to be it.
Landwehr and Morton want to talk about murder. Rader, however, wants to talk about the newspaper ad that was his downfall.
See? He wants to talk about the newspaper ad. He worried about the clout. Do anything for clout. People would do anything for clout. People would do anything for clout.
Rex, it will be okay. A message planted by police for BTK and leading the killer to believe law enforcement could not trace his computer disk.
I need to sure you like it.
Because I was trying to catch you.
I lied to you because I was trying to catch you. And he was incredulous to the fact that I wanted this to end.
See?
Say who you are. You're BTK.
I'm BTK, basically, that was it.
See, he wanted it to end. He wanted the shit to end, y'all. Because he wanted people to see his face now. Now I want y'all to see me. I want y'all to see me, who I am. Y'all gave me the name BTK. Yeah, but y'all don't know what I look like. I'm gonna make sure y'all know what I look like this time. I'm gonna make sure y'all.
Who are you? Say it. I'm BTK. And after that, the floodgates just open.
Over the next 30 hours, Dennis Rader provides details on the BTK victims police knew about. Then he tells them about two more. Victims BTK never took credit for because they were neighbors. Dennis Rader describes 10 separate acts of murder and pleads guilty to each. Judge Gregory Waller sentences Dennis Rader to the maximum allowed, 10 consecutive life sentences at what is known in Kansas as a hard 40, a sentence of 40 years with no possibility of parole.
All right. So let's hear what he got to say about these victims in full detail. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use is in full effect, y'all. I got another video here.
Now, in a jailhouse interview, you'll hear directly from him how and why he committed these gruesome crimes. Here's Dateline
This is the first interview. I got two interviews that we're gonna listen to.
BTK seemed uncatchable. Everyone wondered who he was, where he was, until just a few months ago, when a most unlikely man who'd lived among them all along, Dennis Rader, was arrested.
I am BTK. And I'm the guy they're after, 100%.
This interview, obtained by Dateline after it was done, was conducted by a Harvard-trained forensic psychologist, Robert Mendoza, who performs more than 100 evaluations for criminal and civil cases each year. He was hired by the defense team to assess Rader's sanity.
I got this fantasy. I started working out this fantasy online. And once that person become a fantasy, I could just loop it over. I just lay in bed at night thinking about this person, the events, and how it's going to happen. And it became a real, almost like a picture show. You know, I want to go ahead and produce it, direct it, and go through with it.
Fair use, YouTube.
The consequences. It was going to happen one way or another.
No one knows for sure why Rader had to kill to fulfill those fantasies. In this interview with the...
He said it was going to happen one way or another. I'm going to kill, and I'm going to make sure y'all know about it. I'm going to kill, and I'm going to keep killing, and I'm going to send y'all some letters and let y'all know what I did and how I did it and where the bodies is at. And 25 years later, I'm going to make sure y'all catch me so I can have these interviews and be famous. And people 50 years from now can watch my videos. That's exactly what he wanted. That's exactly what he got. He's going to live forever. Through these videos. Look, I'm doing a video of his ass. He's going to live forever, this guy. All these serial killers and all these killers going to live forever. They're like movie stars. Let's go.
Psychologist. Rader dismisses each victim as a project. He says he'd begin by stalking.
The stalking stage is when you start learning more about your victims, potential victims. I went to the library, I looked up their names, that address, cross-reference, called them a couple of times, drove by there whenever I could.
And each time he struck, Rader said he was armed with what he calls his hit kit.
It contained what? Plastic bags, rope, tape, knife, gun. All those would be at the kit. They'd be where I could have them in the house and gather them up.
Tools that would come to define the work of BTK. The victims were often discovered bound with tape,
duct tape,
or rope tied in unusual knots. In his jailhouse interview, Rader blamed his murder spree on that mysterious force he has always claimed was way beyond his control, Factor X.
Factor X.
I use it. I actually think I'm maybe possessed with demons. I was dropped on my head when I was a kid. I've talked to some theological Christian people, and some of those people are really strong. They actually think, well, the Bible says that there's demons within you or can come into you. That's the only thing I can figure out. I have,
demons.
Something drove me.
They all say they hear a voice or something.
Don't do this. You can't stop it. I can't stop it. It's just.
You can't blame the demons on it, fam. You have choice in this world, man.
10 innocent people murdered to satisfy.
Let's look at a couple of them. Then they got his face up top, like he's the king of their souls. Basically say he took their souls, man. Let's go.
By the twisted needs of one selfish man.
And you can.
Now we're gonna hear the real interview of this dude. Let's go.
All these people.
No, that's
information. All right, Mr. Rader, I need to find out more information.
Fair use, YouTube.
On that particular day, the 15th day of January, 1974, can you tell me where you went to kill Mr. Joseph Otero?
I think it's 1834, Edgemore.
All right. Can you tell me approximately what time of day you went?
Somewhere between 7 and 7:30.
This particular location, did you know these people?
No, that's, no, that was part of my,
Look, he wants to talk about it.
fantasy. These people were selected.
All right, so you were engaged in some kind of fantasy during this period of time?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, when you use the term fantasy, is this something you were doing for your personal pleasure?
Sexual fantasy, sir.
I see.
Sexual
So,
fantasy.
You went to this residence.
Pervert.
And what occurred then?
Well, I had did some thinking on what I was going to do to either Mrs. Otero or Josephine, and basically broke into the house, or didn't break into the house, but when they came out of the house, I came in and confronted the family, and then we went from there.
All right. Had you planned this beforehand?
It's 1974 we talked
To some
about.
degree, yes. After
he's
I got in
talking
the house, we lost control of it, but it was
We time travel back in
back in my
time.
mind. I had some ideas what I was going to do, but I basically panicked that first day. So
Beforehand, did you know who was there in the house?
I thought Mrs. Otero and the two kids, the two younger kids, were in the house. I didn't realize Mr. Otero was going to be there.
All right. How did you get into the house?
I came through the back door, cut the phone lines, waited at the back door.
Pause. You hear what he said? He came through the back door. Y'all make sure y'all doors is locked. Like, get some extra locks on y'all doors. Get a dog and get a gun. He came in there, killed the whole family, everybody. He didn't know dad was going to be there. That was extra. Man, protect yourself, man. Lock y'all windows and y'all doors at night. Facts. And get some weapons and stuff. You too, I'm just trying to teach these people, man, to protect themselves. There's people out here like him right now. Right now. Let's go.
Had reservations about even going or just walking away, but pretty soon the door opened and I was in.
All right. So the door opened. Was it open for you, or did
I think one of the kids, I think the junior, or not junior, yes, the younger Joseph opened the door. He probably.
See, your kid, the kid opened the door for him. We in 1972, no, 74. We in 74 in Wichita. That's where we at. We time travel back to 1974. And the young child opened the door for him. Didn't even know, don't know that dude or not. Y'all make sure y'all lock the doors and keep them kids away from the damn door. Before you go to bed, make sure your kids are asleep. Man, that's crazy. Let's go.
Let the dog out because the dog was in the house at that time.
All right. When you went into the house, what happened then?
Well, I confronted the family, pulled a pistol, confronted Mr. Otero, and asked him to, that I was there to basically, I was wanted to get the car. I was hungry, food. I was wanted, and asked him to lie down in the living room. And at that time, I realized that wouldn't be a really good idea. So I finally, the dog was the real problem. So I asked Mr. Otero if he could get the dog out. So he had one of the kids put it out. And I took him back to the bedroom.
You took who back to the bedroom?
The family, the bedroom, the 4 members.
All right. What happened then?
At that time, I tied him up.
Fair use, you two.
While still holding him at gunpoint?
Well, in between tying, yes. Yeah.
All right. After you tied them up, what occurred?
Well, they started complaining about being tied up, and I re-loosened the bonds a couple of times. Tried to make Mr. Otero as comfortable as I could.
Why?
Apparently had a cracked rib from a car accident. So I had him put a pillow down for his head. Had him put I think Parker.
He was showing signs of care of his pain and struggle. Knowing you're going to kill him anyway. He's going to kill the whole family. But I'm going to make y'all comfortable before I do it. I'm going to loosen up my ties around y'all wrists because y'all complaining too much. So let me loosen that up a little bit. You got broke ribs from an accident that something happened to you beforehand. Let me put a pillow over there and make you a little bit more comfortable before I kill you. Let's go.
Coat underneath him. They talked to me about, giving the car and whatever money. I guess they didn't have very much money. And there I realized that, I didn't have a mask on or anything. They already could ID me, and made a decision to go ahead and put him down, I guess, or strangle him.
All right, what did you do to Joseph Otero?
Joseph Otero?
Yeah, Joseph Otero Sr., Mr. Otero, the father.
If you can't handle stuff like this, I don't recommend y'all to listen. This is some serious detail that we get right here. Let's go. Fair use YouTube. We're listening to this psychopath, Dennis Ryder, BTK killer, which they called him. Let's go.
Put a plastic bag over his head, and then some.
Hold up, wait. And I want y'all to know I would smack the shit out of his ass. He put the bag over his head. Let's go.
Then tighten it.
This was in the bedroom.
Yes, sir.
Did he, in fact, suffocate and die as a result of this?
Not right away. No, sir, he didn't.
What happened?
He struggled.
Well, after that, I did Mrs. Otero. I had never strangled anyone before, so I really didn't know how much pressure you had to put on a person or how long it would take. But
was she also tied up there in the
yes,
bedroom?
yeah, both her hands and their feet were tied up. She was on the bed.
Where were the children?
Josephine was on the bed, and
basically they were watching. They were all watching each other get murdered. Do not, if somebody breaks in y'all crib and put a gun to y'all, do not do what they tell y'all to do. I'm not walking back. Somebody kicks my door in right now and have me at gunpoint, tell me I'm not going to do it. You got to shoot me. You got to shoot me. I'm coming full charge with something in my hand. If I ain't got a gun, I got something. I'm going full, coming straight to you. I'm not getting in your trunk. I'm not doing none of that. Lock your doors and your back doors and your front doors and your windows. Get weapons and get some dogs. Protect y'all's neck. I'm telling y'all. These psycho people, listen to him. Made the kids watch.
Junior was on the floor this time.
So we're talking
Junior
about Joseph Otero. So you put the bag over his head.
He knows their names real well.
He did not die right away. Can you tell me what happened in regards to Joseph?
He moved over real quick, and I think tore a hole in the bag, and I could tell that he was having some problems there. At that time, the whole family just went. They went panicked on me, so I worked pretty quick.
You worked pretty quick.
Well, I mean, I strangled Mrs. Otero, and she went out or passed out. I thought she was dead. She passed out. Then I strangled Josephine.
Fair use.
She passed out, or I thought she was dead. And then I went over and put a bag on Junior's head, and then if I remember right, Mrs. Otero came back. She came back, and
Joseph Otero Sr. You indicated he had torn a hole in the bag. What did you do with him then?
I put another bag over it, or either that, or I recollect. I think I put either a cloth or a T-shirt or something over his head, and then another bag, and then tighten it down.
Did he subsequently die?
Well, yes. I didn't just stay there and watch him. Then I was moving around the room. But.
All right. So you indicated you strangled Mrs. Otero after you had done this. Is that correct?
Now I went back and strangled her again, and that finally killed her at that time.
So this is in regards to count 2. You would first of all put the bag over Joseph Otero's head. he tore a hole in the bag. Then you went ahead, did you strangle Mrs. Otero then? Or did you go
First
back?
of all, Mr. Otero was strangled, or a bag put over his head and strangled. Then I thought he was going down, and I went over and strangled Mrs. Otero. I thought she was down. Then I strangled Josephine while she was down, and then I went over to Junior and put the bag on his head. After that, Mrs. Otero woke back up, and she was pretty upset what's going on. So I came back, and
I just want y'all to see what the man looked like. He
death strangle at that time.
He liked telling this story, y'all.
With a rope. And then I think at that point in time, I redid Mr. Otero, put the bag over his head, went over and then to Junior. Before that, she asked me to save her son. So I actually had taken the bag off, and then I was really upset at that point in time. So basically, when Mr. Otero was down, Mrs. Otero was down, I went ahead and took Junior, I put it in the bag over his head and took him to the other bedroom.
What did you do then?
Put a bag over his head, I put a cloth over his head, a t-shirt and a bag so he couldn't tear a hole in it. And he subsequently died from that. And then when I went back, Josephine had woke back up.
What did you do then?
And I took her to the basement and eventually hung her.
Hung her in the basement?
Yes, sir.
You bastard.
Yes,
I want to punch his glasses through his eyeballs.
But that was after she was hung.
YouTube, fair use. It
All
was
right.
in full effect, YouTube.
What did you do then?
Went through the house, kind of cleaned it up.
Reaction video.
Go from room to room.
Reaction audio.
Picked everything up. I think I took Mr. Otero's watch. I guess I took a radio. I forgot about that, but apparently I took a radio.
Why did you take these things?
I don't know. I have no idea. Just
What happened then?
I got the keys to the car. In fact, I had the keys, I think, earlier that because I want to make sure I had a way of getting out of the house and clean the house up a bit, make sure everything's packed up and left through the front door. And we went over to their car and then drove over to Dylan's, left the car there, then eventually walked back to my car.
All right. Now, sir, from what you have just said, I take it that the facts you told me applied to both counts one, all of them, counts 1, 2, 3, and 4. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Rader. Yes.
Mr. Rader, you're an asshole.
Originally, I believe he indicated 18.
And the judge, you should just get up out that chair and slap the shit out of him. But I guess they can't do nothing like that.
Exactly.
They got to treat him civilized and give him court and all that. TV time.
All right, Mr. Rader, we will now turn to count 5. In that count, it is claimed that on or about the 4th day of April, 1974, in Sedgwick County, Kansas, that you unlawfully killed Catherine Bright maliciously, willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation by strangulation and stabbing, inflicting injuries from which she did die on April 4th, 1974. Can you tell me what occurred on that day?
Shut up once, Ryder. Don't you speak no more. I'll tell you when to speak, bro. Fair use, YouTube. We're listening to this nutcase testify on all the murders that he did. And right now we got him shutting up. Okay? Speak.
I don't know how to exactly say that. I had many, what I call them projects. There were different people in the town that I followed, watched. Kathleen Bright was one of the next targets, I guess, as I would indicate.
How did you select her?
Just driving by one day and I saw her go in the house with somebody else.
See that?
Paul. Possibility. There was many.
He was driving by one day and just seen her going into the house. There goes the victim for me. I'm going to get her. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all people. Protect your neck, man. Lock your doors. Watch your surroundings. Always look out your window. Just be nosy, man. Look out your window. It's your window. If you want to look out of it, look out of it. Who cares if the neighbor say, oh, he or she's always looking out the window? Hell yeah, I'll look out my window. It's my damn window. He's seen her going into the crib. Let's go.
Many places in the area, College Hill, they're all over Wichita. But anyway, it just was basically a selection process. Work toward it. If it didn't work, I just move on to something else. But my kind of person is stalking and scrolling.
This guy, man.
Scrolling stage and then stalking stage. He was in the stalking stage when this happened.
All right, so you identified Catherine Bright as a potential victim.
Yes, sir.
See?
What did you do here in Sedgwick County then?
Pardon?
What did you do then here in Sedgwick County?
On this particular day,
yes,
I broke into the house and waited for her to come home.
How did you break into the house?
Through the back door on the east side.
Back door.
All right, and you waited for her to come home. Where
Yes,
did
sir.
you wait?
In the house there, probably close to the bedroom. I walked to the house and kind of figured out where
See?
they came through.
If you had a dog, you probably killed the dog, but
She and Kevin Wright came in. Wasn't expecting him to be there. And come find out, I guess they were related. That time I approached them and told them I was wanted in California, needed some car. Basically the same thing that I told the Turtles. Kind of ease them, make them feel better. And proceeded to, I think I had him tie her up first. And then I tied
fair
him up
use,
vice versa.
YouTube,
I don't remember right now.
reaction video,
Let me ask you, indicated you
and
had some
audio.
items to tie these people with. Did you bring these items, both the Oteros and to this location?
The Turtles I did. I'm not really sure on Bright. There was some, when I was working with the police, there was some controversy on that. Probably more likely I did. If I had brought my stuff and used my stuff, Kevin would probably be dead today. I'm not bragging on that. It's just a matter of fact. It's the bonds I.
See that? If I would have brought my stuff and used my stuff, Kevin would have been dead today. He's pissed off that Kevin must have got away, y'all. Shout out to Kevin that got away. Man, I want to smack this Dennis dude. I want to smack him. I want to smack him with the front hand. And as it go this way, I want to hit him with the back hand. Slap, slap. You hear me, YouTube? I know YouTube, y'all want to smack him. Let's go.
Tied him up with it, he broke him. So, or and maybe same way with Catherine. They got out of hand.
All right. Now you indicated that you believe you had Kevin tie Catherine up. Tell me what happened then.
Okay. I moved. Well, after I really can't remember, Judge, whether I had her tie him up or she tied him up. But anyway, I moved. Basically, I moved her to another bedroom, and he was already secure there by the bed. Tied his feet to the bedpost, on the bedpost, so he couldn't run. Kind of tied her in the other bedroom, and then I came back to strangle him. And at that time, we had a fight.
Were you armed with the
Yes, I had.
What happened when you
I
came back?
actually had two handguns. Well,
Kevin
I started
fought his
fighting.
ass, was rumbling.
Either the parent broke or he broke his bonds, and he jumped up real quick like I pulled my gun and quickly shot him, hit him in the head. He fell over. I could see the blood, and as far as I was concerned, I thought he was down and was out, and then went and started to strangle Catherine. And we
Oh,
started
he had
fighting.
a gun, y'all.
Bonds weren't very good.
Also.
And so back and forth, we fought.
You and Catherine?
Yeah, we fought. And I got the best of her, and I thought she was going down, and then I could hear some movement in the other room. So I went back, and Kevin, no, I thought she was going down, and I went back to the other bedroom where Kevin.
He knows the story real well.
Strangling at that time. And
Fair
he
use.
jumped up, and we fought, and he about that time about shot me because he got the other pistol that was in my shoulder here. I had my Magnum in my shoulder. So, and originally I.
Did you have it in the shoulder holster?
Yes, and I had the Magnum in the shoulder holster. The other one was a 22.
He's telling the story like it's summertime.
At that point in time, and
Like he had fun last summer.
jammed the gun, stuck my finger in there, jammed it, and I think he
At the
thought
park
that
or
was the only
something.
gun I had, because once I either bit his finger or hit him or something. got
Back in the
away,
olden days
I
time
shot him
talk.
one more time, and I thought he was down for good that time.
All right, so you shot him a second time.
Yes, sir.
What happened then?
Went back to finish the job on Catherine, and she was fighting. And at that point in time, I've been fighting her, and then I heard I don't know whether I was basically losing control. The strangulation wasn't working on her, and I used a knife on her.
Say you used a knife.
He went brutal on
What
her.
did you do with the knife?
I stabbed her. She said he stabbed 2 or 3 times, either here or here. Maybe 2 back here and 1 here, or maybe just 2 times back here.
You were pointing to your lower back and your
Yeah, underneath the ribs.
and your lower abdomen.
Underneath the ribs, up under the ribs.
Up
So
under
after
the
you
rib.
stabbed her, what happened?
Actually, I think at that point in time, it was a total mess because I didn't have control on it. She was bleeding. She went down. I think I just went back to check on Kevin, or at that basically same time I heard him escape. It could be one of the two. But all of a sudden the front door of the house was open and he was gone. And I tell you what I thought. I thought the police were coming at that time. I heard the door open. I thought, that's it.
Kevin got up out of
I
there.
stepped out there. I could see him running down the street. So
He wasn't even going to try to save the female at all. He said, I'm out of here.
All right, now,
I done got shot twice.
Mr. Rader, you indicated that at the Oteros you did not have a mask on. Did you have a mask on at the right?
no, I didn't.
All right, so what happened then?
I had already had the keys to the cars. And I thought I had the right key to the right car. I ran out to their car with, I think it was a pickup out there. I tried it, didn't work. And at that point in time, he was gone, running down the street. I thought, yeah, I'm in trouble. So I tried it, didn't work. So I just took off, went east, and then worked back toward the WSU campus where my car was parked.
All right, so you had parked your car at the Wichita State University
Yes, sir, on the
campus.
campus.
How far away was the bride's residence?
Oh, I parked, was it 13th?
Oh, I parked, look, he loves telling this story, y'all. I know people in that courtroom be like, man, you are definitely a scumbag, and I wish I could put my hands on you. Even his lawyers looking like, man.
And they were on 13th. Was it 17th? Yeah. I was just about 1 block south of 17th where the car was. There's a park there. I parked by the park, and then I walked to 13th to the Brights residence. So I basically ran back.
All right, so you were able to get to your car and get away.
Yes, sir.
Now let's turn to count number 6. In that count, they claim on March 17th, 1977, in Sedgwick County, Kansas, that you unlawfully killed Shirley Vian maliciously, willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation by strangulation, inflicting injuries from which she did die on March 17th, 1977. Can you tell me what you did on that day?
As before, Vian was actually on that one, she was completely random. There was actually someone across from Dylan.
Completely random.
It was called Project Green, I think. I had project numbers assigned to it. And that particular day, I drove to Dylan's, parked in the parking lot, watched this particular residence, and then got out of the car and walked over to it. It's probably the police report, the address. I don't remember the address now.
Completely random. He said this victim was completely random, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all, protect your neck.
Before I kind of knew a little bit of the layout of the neighborhood. I've been through the back alleys, knew where some certain people live. While I was walking down Hydraulic, I met a young boy. Asked him if we ID some pictures, kind of with the Russ, I guess, or Roos, as you call it, and kind of feel it out. Saw where he went.
If y'all hear buzzing, it's not my equipment. It's in the video.
Somebody opened the door, so I just noticed where he went and went to that house. And
They didn't have good stuff back then, I guess.
You call these projects, were these sexual fantasies also?
potential hits. That, in my world, that's what I call them.
This is a random kill. It's a random kill.
So
They're
you
called
went,
projects, hits.
all right, and why did you have these potential hits? Was this got it by some sexual interest? Or
Yes, sir. I had a lot of them, so it just, if one didn't work out, I just moved to another one.
so, as I'm to understand it, then on the 17th of March, 1977, you saw this little boy go into a residence, and you tried another residence. No one was there. You tried another residence. No one was there, so you went to the residence with the little boy.
And I watched where he went.
What happened then?
After I tried this once residence, nobody came to the door. I went to this house where he went in,
Damn.
knocked on the door, and
This
told
guy's
him
just
private
weirdo.
Showed him a picture that I had
Going in
showed
people's
before.
cribs and killing them.
They could ID the picture.
Where's the protection at?
At that time, I had the gun here, and I just kind of forced myself in. I just walked in, just opened the door, walked in, and then pulled a pistol.
What gun? What pistol?
357 Magnum.
So you only had one gun with you this time?
Yes, sir.
What happened then?
I told Mrs. Swan that I had a problem with sexual fantasies, that I was going to tie her up, and that I might have to tie the kids up, and that she would cooperate with me at that time. We went back. She was extremely nervous. I think she even smoked a cigarette. And we went back to one of the back areas of the porch, explained to her that I had done this before.
Let me smoke a cigarette because he got me pissed off.
I think she was, at that point in time, I think she was sick because she had a night room.
Random. He just walked in their crib and pulled the gun.
I think she came out of the bedroom when I went in the house. So anyway, we went back to her bedroom, and I proceeded to tie the kids up, and they started crying and got real upset.
Fair use, you
I said,
too.
"No, this is not going to work." So we moved into the bathroom. She helped me, and then I tied the door shut. We put some toys and blankets and odds and ends in there for the kids, make them as comfortable as we could. We tied one of the bathroom doors shut so they couldn't open it, and she went back and helped me shove the bed up against the other bathroom door. And then I proceeded to tie her up. She got sick, threw up, got her a glass of water, comforted her a little bit, and then I went ahead and tied her up, and then put a bag over her head and strangled her.
All right. Was this a plastic bag also?
Yes, sir. I think it was, but I could be wrong in that.
You put a bag.
It was something. I'm sure it was plastic bag. Yeah.
You say you put a bag over her head and strangled her. What did you strangle her with?
I think on that, I had tied her legs to the bedpost and worked up with the rope all the way up, and then what I had left over.
He likes tying legs to the bedpost.
So you used this rope to strangle.
Yes, I think it's the same one that I tied her body with.
What happened then?
Well, the kids were really banging on the door, hollering, screaming, and then the telephone rang, and they had talked about earlier that the neighbor was going to check on them, so I cleaned everything up real quick like and got out of there, left, and went back into my car.
When you say you cleaned everything,
well, I mean, put my stuff. I had a briefcase, whatever I had laying around, the ropes, tape, cords. I threw that in there. Whatever that I had that I brought in the house.
Like he was at work.
Brought that to the bride residence.
That's his job, y'all.
Yeah, there is some. I think it was the basic stuff, but I don't remember bringing total stuff like I did to some of the others.
Like he went in there and fixed their
Is this a kit that you had
TV or
prepared?
something.
Yeah, yes, I called my kit.
All right, sir. You left the Vian residence and had you parked your vehicle near
Yeah,
there?
and it's still in the same parking lot there, Dillon's, at Hydraulic and what's that? Harry? Lincoln and Hydraulic.
All right, in count 7, it is claimed that on the 8th day of December, 1977, in Sedgwick County, Kansas, that you unlawfully killed a human being that began.
We are now in 1977.
Maliciously, willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation by strangulation, inflicting injuries from which the said Nancy Fox did die on December 8th, 1977. Can you tell me what you did on that day? here in Sedgwick County?
Nancy Fox was another one of the projects. When I was trolling the area, I noticed there was
Trolling
a house
the
one
area.
night. Sometimes anyway, I
was
put
trolling
down
the
as a
victim.
potential victim.
Let me ask you one thing, Mr. Rader. You used that term when you were patrolling the area. What do you mean by that?
It's called stalking
Facts.
or trolling.
So you were not working in any form or fashion. You were
Well,
just,
I don't know if you read much about serial killers, they go through what they call the different phases. That's one of the phases they go through.
Listen, y'all.
As a trolling stage, you're
He's
basically
teaching us.
looking for a victim at that time, and that you could be trolling for months or years. But once you lock in on a certain person, then you become stalking, and that might be several of them. But you really home in on that person. They basically become that's the victim, or that's what you want. Yeah.
Trolling or team, not a trolling.
he didn't say trolling. I thought he said trolling.
Oh, okay.
Trolling,
All right.
stalking.
No, I wasn't working, sir. Oh, no, this was off my hours.
Be alert.
So
and
you
lock your
basically,
doors. Get some weapons.
identified Nancy Fox as one of your projects. What happened then?
At first, she was spotted, and then I did a little homework. I dropped by once. to
Nancy
check
Fox
her
was
mailbox
spotted, y'all.
to See what her name
R.I.P.
was.
to Nancy Fox.
Found out where she worked. Stopped by there once. At Hillsborough.
Victim number 7.
Kind of sized her up. The more I knew about a person, the more I felt comfortable with it. So I did that a couple of times. And then I just selected a night, which was this particular night, to try it, and it worked out.
All right. Can you tell me what you did on the night?
You picked the night to try it out, y'all. Tonight's the night.
Blocks away, I parked my car and walked to that residence. I knocked at the door first to make sure, see if anybody was in there, because I knew she arrived home at a particular time from where she worked. Nobody answered the door, so I went around the back of the house, cut the phone lines. I could tell that there wasn't anybody in the north apartment. Broke in and waited for her to come home in the kitchen.
See?
All right. Did she come home?
Was in the crib before you got there.
What happened?
I confronted her, told her there I was had a problem, sexual problem, that I would have to tie her up and have sex with her.
He's telling the truth to the victims now.
She was.
He was lying.
upset. We talked for a while. She
He was
smoked
wanted
a
by the
cigarette.
police, remember?
While we smoked cigarette, I went through her purse, identifying some stuff. She finally said, well, let's get this over with so I go call the police. I said, okay. And she said, can I go to the bathroom? I said, yes. She went to the bathroom. And I told her when she came out to make sure that she was undressed.
She said, let's get this over with so I can call the police.
Handcuffed her. And I don't really remember whether. Sir?
You handcuffed her? You had a pair of handcuffs?
Yes, sir.
What happened then?
Well, anyway, I handcuffed her, had her lay on the bed, and then I tied her feet. And
At least he's being honest about it.
I was also undressed to a certain degree. And then I got on top of her and then I reached over.
Because he wants the clout.
Either her feet were tied or not tied. Anyway, I think I had a belt. I took the belt and then strangled her with a belt at that time.
Dang.
All right, after you had strangled her, what happened then?
Okay. After I strangled her with the belt, I took the belt off and retied that with pantyhose real tight. Removed the handcuffs and tied those with pantyhose. Can't remember the colors right now. I think I maybe retied her feet. What they had not already, they were probably already tied. Her feet were. And at that time,
She said, let's get this over with so I could call the police. The victim said that. Let's get this over with. Well, I'm here because I got a sexual fantasy. Well, let's get this over with so I can call the police. That's what she said. That's what he said, she said, allegedly. Let's go.
masturbated, sir.
All right. Had you had sexual relations with her?
No. I told her I was, but I did not.
So you masturbated, then what did you do?
Dressed and then went through the house, took some of her personal items, and kind of cleaned the house up with her, and they checked everything, and then left.
All right.
He masturbated after he killed her.
he's established was in Sedgwick County. I don't know. For purposes of this, it's in Sedgwick County. Do you remember the address, Mr. Williams?
He knows the address and everything.
913 or 903. No, I sure don't. I know it was on Persian. South Persian, that's all. I don't.
You're in
It was a
Wichita?
9. It was 9 something, sir, but I don't know the other digits. And
The address, as I said, is really not important as long as you remember it happened here in Wichita, Sedgwick County.
yes, sir.
All right, sir, let's turn to count 8. In count 8, it is claimed that on or about the 27th day of April 1985 to the 28th day of April 1985.
We're now in 1985.
It is claimed that you unlawfully killed a human being, Maureen Hedge, maliciously, willfully, deliberately, and with premeditation by strangulation, inflicting injuries from which Maureen Hedge did die on April 27th, 1985. Can you tell me what occurred on that day?
Fair use YouTube.
Like the others, she was chosen. Went through the different phases, stalking phase, and since she lived down the street from me, I could watch the coming and going quite easily.
A neighbor.
Particular date,
Don't trust your neighbors either.
had a commitment. Came back from that commitment. Parked my car over at
You never know what a person's thinking about you.
and 21st Street, the bowling alley there at that time. Before that, I dressed until I had some other clothes on, changed clothes. I went to the bowling alley, went in there, the precinct of bowling, called a taxi, had a taxi take me out to Park City. Had my kit with me as a bowling bag.
All right, that was Park City in Sedgwick County.
Yes, sir.
He was waiting for this time.
All
Y'all.
right,
He,
had the taxi take you to Park
he
City.
did all those killings just
There
for
I
this,
asked-
right here.
I pretended that I was a little drunk. I just took some beer and
He killed all those people just for
I
this,
could probably smell
to
alcohol.
testify in
I
court,
asked-
y'all.
Told him to let me out.
On
get some
camera.
Fresh air, and I walked from where the taxi let me out over to her house.
All right, where does she live?
62
Look, he's smiling.
54, 6254, 6254,
What was
North
it?
Independence.
All right, when you walked over there, what happened next?
Well, as before, I was going to have sexual fantasy, so I brought my kit. And lo and behold, her car was there. I thought, gee, she's not supposed to be home.
Sexual
So
fantasy.
I very carefully snuck into the house, kind of like a cat burglar. And after checking the house, she wasn't there. So about that time, the doors rattled. So I went back to one of the bedrooms and hid back there in one of the bedrooms. She came in with a male visitor. They were there for maybe an hour or so. He left. I waited till wee hours in the morning and then proceeded to sneak into her bedroom and flip the lights on real quick, like, or I think the bathroom lights. I didn't want to flip her lights on, and she screamed, and I jumped on the bed and strangled her manually.
See that?
Now,
All up into people's
were you wearing
cribs.
any kind of disguise or mask at this time?
No.
You indicated this woman lived down the street from you. Did she know you?
Casually, we'd walk by and
All
wave.
up into people's
I like
cribs.
to work in her yard as well as I like to work. It's just a neighborly type thing. It wasn't anything personal. I mean, just a neighbor.
All right, so she was in her bed when you turned on the lights in the bathroom?
Yeah, the bathroom. Yeah, so I could get some light in there.
This is his neighbor down the street,
I
y'all.
manually strangled her when she started to scream.
So you used your hands?
Yes, sir.
And you strangled her? Did she die?
Yes.
All right, what did you do then?
After that, since I was in the sexual fantasy, I went ahead and stripped her and probably went ahead and I'm not sure if I tied her up at that point in time.
Probably.
But anyway, she was nude. I put her on a blanket, went through her purse, some personal items in the house, figured out how I was going to get her out of there.
Took her clothes off.
Moved her to the trunk of the car.
Off of her dead body.
Took the car over to Christ Lutheran Church. Just an
Man,
older church.
you hear him?
And took some pictures of her.
All right, you took some photographs. Or what kind of camera did you use?
Poor Lord.
Did you keep those photographs?
Yes, the police probably have.
All right, what happened there?
That was it. She went through, I tied it, she was already dead, so I took pictures.
He's talking about it like he's delivering pizzas to these people's houses.
That's probably what got me in trouble was the bond.
He knows the addresses and
Anyway,
everything.
that's probably the main thing. But anyway, after that, I moved her back out to the car, and then we went east on 53rd.
All right, what occurred then?
Sir?
What happened then?
Oh, trying to find a place to hide her, hide the body.
Did you find a place?
Yes, yes, I did.
Yes. You hear that?
Couldn't tell you without looking at a map, but it was on 53rd, between Greenwich, maybe. Maybe, what's the other one?
He's loved telling his story.
I think between Webb and Greenwich, I found a ditch, a low place on the north side of the road, and hit her there.
All right, you say you hit her there.
Well, there was some trees, some brush, and I laid that over the top of her body.
All right, so you removed the body from the car, put her in the ditch, then laid some brush over the body.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sir, in count 9, it is
Count
claimed
9.
on about the 16th day of September 1986.
We're on
in Sedgwick County, Kansas, that you unlawfully killed a human being. Vicky
reaction video, YouTube.
willfully,
Reaction
deliberately, and with
audio.
premeditation
Fair use
by
is in
strangulation,
full effect.
inflicting injuries from which the said
This
Vicky
video is
Gregory
protected by
did
fair use.
die on
This
September
channel is
16th,
protected by fair use.
1986. Can you tell me what you did here in Sedgwick County on that day that makes you believe you are guilty?
Yes. Again, Vicky was another potential victim. I went through those different phases, locked in on her, as I would call it, and decided that I would try that date. I used a Rus as a telephone repairman to get in their house. Drove there in my own personal car around lunchtime, during lunch hour, or approximately that time. It was earlier in the morning than that. And I actually went somewhere else and changed my clothes, what I call my hit clothes. And hit clothes, basically different, things that I need to get rid of later.
His killing clothes.
I had on.
His hit clothes. Like he's a hitman.
Other better word to use it, crime clothes or hit clothes. I just call it hit clothes.
He was killing men and women.
As a telephone repairman.
And children.
As I walked there and donned the telephone helmet, I had a briefcase. Went to one other address just to kind of size up the house. I'd walked by it a couple times, but I wanted to check it a little bit more. As I approached it, I could hear a piano sound. And went to this other door, knocked on them, and told them we were recently working on telephone repairs in the area. And went to her and knocked on the door and asked her if I could come check her telephone lines inside.
Did she allow you in?
Yes, she did.
What happened then?
Went over and found out where the telephone was, simulated that I was checking the telephone. I had a make-believe instrument. And after she was looking away, I drew a pistol at her and asked her if she'd go back to the bedroom with me.
That gun.
This is saying 357 Magnum.
No,
That gun make you do what, man. You got to shoot.
Ask her to go back to the bedroom with you after drawing a pistol on her.
Yes, sir.
What happened then?
I told her, we went back to the bedroom. I told her I was going to have to tie her up. She was very upset.
Well, you're not going to do it, buddy.
I think
Don't let him tie you up, man.
I used some material that was in.
You make him shoot you, you fight his ass.
Not sure, but I think I used the material that they had in their bedroom. And after I tied her hands, she broke that and we started fighting.
See?
And we fought quite a bit. Back
Fought.
She
should have did the fighting beforehand.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
What happened then?
Finally got the hand on her and got a nylon sock and started strangling her.
So you wrapped the stocking around her neck?
Yes.
What happened then?
I finally gained on her and put her down, and I thought she was dead, but apparently she wasn't. But after she was down and not moving anymore, I rearranged her clothes a little bit and took some quick photos. I think 3 of them, if I remember. And then after that, there was a lot of commotion. She had mentioned something about her husband coming home. So I got out there pretty quick. The dogs were raising a lot of cane in the back. The doors, the windows were all open to the house. A lot of noise.
See, the dogs was in the back.
I left pretty quickly after that. Put everything in the briefcase and had her. I'd already gone through her.
Dogs can't help you when they're out in the back or in a
Use their
cage.
car for my getaway.
You got them locked in the
All
basement.
right, now you indicate that you thought. that
They
she
can't
was
help
dead.
you.
just
Them
stepped
dogs
away
was in the
from
house.
her.
They could have
Not
helped
dead.
her.
Yes, I guess the paramedics
Ripped his ass
arrived
up.
And they tried to attempt to revive her. And that failed. I don't know whether she died there or on the way to the hospital or at the hospital. I don't recollect.
But you later found out that she did die as a result of your strangulation.
Yes.
Sir, let's turn to count 10. In that count, it's claimed that on or about the 18th day of January 1991 to the 19th day of January.
I think it's the last
1991
victim.
in the county of Sedgwick, state of Kansas, that you did then and there unlawfully kill a human being, that being Dolores E. Davis, maliciously, willfully,
R.I.P. to
deliberately,
Dolores
and with
Davis.
premeditation by strangulation, inflicting injuries from which the said Dolores E. Davis did die on January
Dolores
19th,
E. Davis.
1991. Mr. Rader, please tell me what you did here in Sedgwick County, Kansas on that day that makes you believe you're guilty.
That particular day, I had some commitments. I left those, went to one place, changed my clothes, went to another place, parked my car, finally made arrangements on my hit kit, my clothes, and then walked to that
Hit kit.
After spending some time at that residence.
Hit clothes and hit kit.
Very cold.
That's what he got.
Had reservations about going in.
That's what he had.
I had tasted the place before, and I really couldn't figure out how to get in, and she was in the house, so.
Fair
I finally
use,
just,
you too?
selected a concrete block and threw it through the plate glass window on the east and came on in.
Reaction
Where is the
audio.
residence located?
It's on Hillside.
Slash
but I
video.
couldn't give you the address. I know it's probably 61, probably 62 something. Oh, 62 something.
North or south?
North Hillside.
All right, so you used a concrete block to break a window?
Plate glass window, patio door.
What happened then?
Noise. I just went in. She came out of the bedroom and thought that a car had hit her house. And I told her that I used the roofs of being wanted. I was on the run. I needed food, car, warm up. And I asked her, I handcuffed her and kind of talked to her, told her that I would like to get some food, get her keys, her car, and kind of rest assured, talked with her a little bit, calmed her down a little bit. And then eventually I checked, I think she was still handcuffed. I went back and checked out where the car was, simulated getting some food, odds and ends in the house that I was leaving. Then went back and removed her handcuffs and then tied her up. And then eventually strangled her.
Or you say eventually strangled her?
Well, after I tied her up, I went through some things in the room there and then strangled her.
You say you went through, were you looking for something?
Well, some personal items, yes. I took some personal items from there.
He's taking y'all
You take
stuff.
personal items in every one of these incidents?
I'm gonna take y'all stuff and
I
I'm
did
gonna
on
kill
the
you.
bench. I don't remember anything of Vicky's place. We have Cheryl's, we got the watch and the radio.
Vicky's place, like he knew her.
I don't think I did any.
Went there and hung out with her. You smashed her window in with a brick.
No,
Went in there,
Fox, yes. I took
killed
some
her,
things from
fam.
Fox. It was hit and miss.
Right. But
Probably,
in regard,
Like Michael
if it was a
Myers or
controlled
something.
Situation where I had more time, I took something, but if it was a confusion and other things I didn't, because I was trying to get out of there.
all right, so in regard to the Davis matter, you went around the room, took a few personal things. What did you do then?
Strangled her.
What did you strangle her with?
Pantyhose.
And what happened then?
Kind of like Mrs. Hedge. I already figured out I had a plan on leaving and put her in a blanket and drug her to the car, put her in the trunk of the car.
So you were able to strangle her to death with these pantyhose?
Yes, sir.
All right, you put her in your car.
Her
or in
car.
the car.
Her car. The trunk of her car.
What happened then?
I really had a commitment I needed to go to, so I moved her to one spot, took her out of her car. This gets complicated. Then the stuff I had, clothes, gun, whatever, I took that to another spot in her car, dumped that off. Okay. Then took her car back to her house, left that. Let me think now.
Man, you better hurry up.
Okay. In the interim, I took her car back to her house. In interim, I realized that I had lost one of my guns. I dropped it somewhere. So we saw it, trying to figure out where my gun was. So I went back in the house, realized I had dropped it when I broke the plate glass window. It dropped and fell on the floor right there, and I found it right there. So that solved that problem. Anyway, I went back out, threw the keys, checked the car real quick, threw the keys up on top of the roof of her house, walked from her car back to my car, took my car, drove it back, and I either dropped more stuff off or I picked her up and put them in my car. And then I drove up northeast of Sedgwick County and dropped her off underneath the bridge.
Dropped her off underneath the bridge.
So all of these incidents, these 10 counts, occurred because you wanted to satisfy a sexual.
Lock y'all doors, lock y'all windows,
Yes.
protect y'all's necks, man.
Party desire any further matters to be put on the record at this time?
No, Your Honor.
10 victims. Random people that he just chose to kill. And there's more people out here like that. This man, pretty sure he got the death penalty already. I'm going to investigate that some more. I haven't checked that one out. But if y'all know, y'all know. But more to this story is, man, protect yourself, man. You hear what he says? I'm coming in the back door. Shit, he took a brick and bust the window out. The lady was sitting there. She comes out of the room. He done bust through the daggone sliding glass door. Killed her. Get yourself a gun if you're allowed. Go to the gun range and practice your weapon, man. Get you some dogs that's gonna protect you. Main thing, man, protect your neck, man. And don't trust nobody. Your neighbor, your friend, and damn sure don't trust nobody on these YouTube streets.